All right. Welcome everyone tonight. I'm really excited to have a very special guest with us tonight, Ruth Ahnen, and she is from Milwaukee. And is that right?
You got it. Milwaukee.
Yep. Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
And I think of Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah, I know.
But I have done a 5-day detox with her last week, and I loved every minute of it, and I was just really excited. And some of you on this Zoom are on it this week, and I know a couple more we're going to do it next week because they couldn't get their act together for this week. But I'm just really excited about learning more from Ruth tonight, and so I'm going to just hand it right over to her so we don't waste any more time and just let her take over from here.
All right. Well, thanks, Cindy, for inviting me on. I am just extremely passionate about equipping and educating and serving. And so I think what you guys can expect tonight from what I want to share with you is something that is going to help you become a better ambassador, customer of the product, so you can serve your customers better. So I was talking to Cindy earlier, and I graduated from as a certified natural health professional not too long ago. And what I loved about the program is that it really taught what the root and base of good health is. So one of the presentations I gave for the Silver Slims, a big, if you talk about a group of symptoms and problems that people have, it's losing that belly fat, plateauing, and even while on plexus. So that's going to be kind of what the presentation is tonight. So I'm going to get started, and being the best you.
Hey.
All right. Here's a little bit about me. I'm a certified natural health professional. I'm a senior gold with Plexus. Yay! And I'm a level 5 swim coach, which doesn't mean anything to any of you. It just means that I have the highest certification in swimming as coach. So and in my off time, I love to climb. I did Kilimanjaro 2 years ago, and that's what got me started on this Plexus journey, was going to that mountain. And then I did Everest Base Camp all after 50. Wow. So my goal in life is to be the poster child on aging very well and encouraging others to be just amazing, more amazing as we get older. And my husband and I have been married 27 years. I've got 2 kids, Katie and Matt, and a dog who I hope stays quiet for the most of this. So, all right, so let's get started. Some of the goals: want to shed light on what may be causing you difficulty to losing weight, and it's probably not plexus, but this is going to make you all much wiser in helping your clients and customers. How underlying issues and just aging affects how we lose weight, and then some strategies and tips to lose weight, get healthy, get that struggle of the bulge, lose that word diet from our vocabulary, because I think a lot of people go after the diet first and think they're going to get healthy, and it's totally the opposite. They need to get healthy, and then the weight will come off. So I think that needs to be our focus as we work with people. And then, some people are very up in the air. When do we take our plexus supplements? And some, it's a little confusing. And so sometimes we need to alter our strategies on when to take the product. So does that all sound good? You guys all excited?
Yes.
All right. So please make sure you have pen and paper for this, because I'm going to be switching frames, and you might not have enough time to write down things, or I don't know about you, but I walk away, I forget things. So I don't want you guys to forget anything. So, all right. So before we all start, I want to say our little disclaimer. I got to close my little picture of you all. The information in this presentation is for informational purposes only. It is not meant to cure, treat, or diagnose any disease. The information contained here does not replace the care of your licensed medical practitioner. And Plexus does not claim to cure, treat, or prevent any disease. All right, so where are we going to begin? How do we balance and restore the body so that it can shed weight? So I'm going to share the different areas of the body. It's kind of a beginner's 101 on good health and what it takes for good health. So There's a couple things that our body needs for optimal health and weight. And what we have to understand, I think we get so in love with plexus, and I'm head over heels in love with plexus. But as we always want to tell our potential customers or people when we're talking to them, that plexus does not fix everything. It doesn't. Without the things we're going to talk about, it's very difficult for plexus to do the proper job that it's designed to do. So the very first thing our bodies need, and this is kind of a no-brainer, is fresh, clean air. And we also need, here's something that I don't know if a lot of you knew. I didn't know a lot of this before taking my class and things, but 84%, when you lose weight, 84% of that weight comes out through your breathing. Did you know that? Kind of interesting to know. So in today's day and age, a lot of people just don't breathe deeply enough, and they're not getting rid of all the toxins in their body. So fresh, clean air is really, really important. If you work in an office building, if you're kind of in colder climates and your house is closed up, there's a lot of toxins that we breathe in every day. So it's important to get fresh, clean air. Second thing, water. Of course, we all tell everybody, drink half your body weight in ounces, but do you know why? One of our major toxin removal systems is our blood, and our blood is mainly made out of water. So it's very, very important that we keep fresh. Remember that word fresh, because depending on where we get our water source, you could be taking in toxins when you're drinking water. So make sure that your water source is good and clean, and then make sure you're drinking enough. So we eliminate, water gets all of our cellular debris and those type of things to our lymph nodes, which basically our system needs water. So we also need good sleep and rejuvenating rest. So if you're talking to a customer and they're having issues, or the plexus is not working that well for them, it's really good to ask these questions. How much fresh air do you get? Are you getting enough breath? Are you drinking enough water? Are you sleeping well? Without good sleep, our body becomes inflamed. Our cortisol levels are raised, and it's very, very hard for our body to function well if we don't get good rest and sleep. Good food and supplementation, absolutely. In with today's soil is so depleted of nutrients that, I think what they said was like 40 years ago, the nutritional value in an apple, you would have to eat the equivalent of 6 apples today to equal the equivalent value of what it was just 30, 40 years ago. So people can't eat 6 apples to get that much nutrients. They have to have supplementation. Even if you eat the best food, it is still not going to be as nutrient dense as what our food sources used to be. So supplementation is, I believe it's absolutely needed to kind of bridge that gap between what we eat, even if you're a clean eater. And also in that, when you are eating, go for organic, go for as clean as you can, because the way we're eating, if you're just buying things off the shelf at a chain type grocery store, the toxin level from pesticides and other things in our food sources to make it bigger and bushier, and the antibiotics, the hormones, the GMO products, our body is just taking in a lot that it can't handle it. That's why we have such a rise in autoimmune. We also need a healthy and working toxin removal system, and that includes the lymph system. And the way we get our lymph system working well is fun, sweaty exercise. So it's important that we're moving every day to get things going. Our bowels, how often do we go to the bathroom? Well, if we're in plexus, we all know that, once every 2 or 3 days is not enough. Once a day really is not. A healthy body, the bowels move between, ideally, between 12 to 18 hours after you ingest a meal. So if you're eating 3 good meals a day, you should be going to the bathroom more than once a day. Your urinary tract, you are flushing toxins and waste out through your kidneys. Make sure they are working well. That's why we need the water. Respiratory, I told you before, we get rid of toxins and our weight. As our weight turns into carbon, which combines with oxygen, so we are removing the carbon dioxide. And then our skin, 1/4 of our toxins are removed through our skin. So it's important that I'm going to discuss a couple techniques to help you with that toxin removal later on in this presentation. And also, I think one big part that we miss, so you're talking to an ambassador who, I'm eating clean, I'm drinking all my water, I exercise every day, and you know what, they still got a little belly or they still have their issues. Do not discount the emotional and spiritual wellness of your customer. And you don't want to get personal and say, you got any issues? Can I help you with? You want to say, is there anything else going on in your life? Is everything okay with the family? Do you have a particularly stressful job? And if they answer yes, that might be why things are not working so well. So one of the biggest units that we had at school was talking about emotional and spiritual wellness. And if you're off in there, unforgiveness, anger, guilt, those type of things, if those aren't addressed and worked through, it may be very, very difficult to lose weight. It's amazing the people that I have worked with where we've had discussions and just kind of talked things out. Somebody who's been really stuck, not be able to get through a plateau, and their weight is in their belly. And by doing not so much therapy, but some exercises and just making them aware and then being able to work on those things and doing a good detox, it's amazing. It's like a dam breaking with their health. All right, so, and then of course the big three base that we all know about and that Plexus addresses. So I hope you guys are excited. I mean, as I was cycling through school, I just got more and more excited that I am with the right company. I already knew it, but it was just really confirmation of that. So we need a healthy gut microbiome. We need our blood sugar stabilized, and we need to keep inflammation under control. And Plexus products address all 3 of these. All right, so let's talk about some of those underlying issues, and let's get to that root cause. All right, this is a big list you're seeing here. Why can't I lose weight? And I know this talk is kind of geared toward weight, but you could also substitute in there, why can't I cut my sugar carb cravings? Why can't I, you fill in the blanks. So a lot of people have root issues. I mean, how many people do you know have thyroid issues? They're on medication. Metabolism is slowed down because they've been on too many diets. Aging, when we age, everything kind of slows down. Enzyme function. You know what? We aren't digesting our food as well. The older you get, your enzyme functions decrease. And so that's what's so absolutely fabulous about a lot of Plexus's products. It has enzymes in it. The Proteus in the Probio 5 helps break down protein. The cellulase helps break down that hard outer coating like on our vegetables and all that. I mean, it's fabulous for those type of things. But it does slow down, so we are not getting the full nutritional value because our food is not fully digested. We have, big. This is huge. This is so prevalent today is insulin and leptin resistance. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Clogged lymph systems. If you're not moving, you could have a clogged lymph system, belly fat. You have belly fat. That means you're storing a lot of toxins. So that is very hard to get rid of because your brain wants to protect itself. So when you start going on a diet and releasing fat, even sometimes when we're on our Plexus, because Plexus has that visceral fat burner, if your toxin removal systems are not clear and working, then your body wants to hold on to that belly fat with those toxins. The brain wants to be protected. So you know what it does? It slows down your metabolism a bit. So you really have to address those other health issues before you start getting into, like the weight's going to come off. So that might be why some people are a little bit stuck for months. Address the main health issues, the weight will fall off. So you guys can just read the rest of those. Menopause, love it. Don't you all love it? Those of us in that category. All right, so let's get to the root. Let's move on. All right, two of the big ones that I want to address is insulin resistance. I don't know how many of you know what insulin resistance is, but I think the number of people in America, because of the food we eat, because of the lack of exercise, from the amount of stress that we have, a lot of people are insulin resistant. So I don't want to get too sciencey and all that kind of stuff on you, but insulin resistance is a condition in which the cells, particularly those of muscle, fat, and liver, they say enough. They have enough insulin. And so they say enough to the insulin, which is trying to take the blood sugar out of the system for your energy and metabolism. So your insulin level is going to stay high because there's no home for the blood sugars to go to. So the blood sugar is remaining high at the same time. So your pancreas keeps producing insulin. So you have a high level of insulin in your system. And that is not good. That keeps your blood sugars high and just creates a cascade of health issues. You're releasing cortisol, your inflammation goes up. And what happens is your body never goes into fat burning mode. It never goes into fat burning mode. And so if your body doesn't go into fat burning mode because you're insulin resistant, you are not going to lose weight. So how do you fix that? And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Leptin resistance. Leptin is a master hormone of body fat regulation. It's basically, hormones are little messengers that send messages to the brain, and they're kind of the delivery system. Leptin is the one to tell your brain that you're full, that you've got enough nutrients, and it turns off that hunger response. So insulin resistant and leptin resistance kind of go hand in hand. And so you don't get that feeling of being full. You're always looking for more food. So even though you've eaten a lot, and it depends on what you're eating, you're going to still have that hunger response. And that's hard to overcome. All right. So all this creates inflammation in your body. So inflammation really plays havoc and can cause weight gain. And if you're stressed, you're inflamed. So inflammation will make your body resistant to key chemical messengers to help you burn fat, tolerate stress, and normalize your appetites and cravings. So if you've got you've got a lot of inflammation in your body is not getting the right messages when to say, I'm not hungry, I don't need any more food. So those are all a little haywire. Insulin resistance, we talked about, you're going to retain fluid. So you might feel bloated or heavy if you've got a lot of inflammation. You have digestive problems. You may have more bad bacteria than good, which will actually extract more calories that will be stored as fat. You have a loss of energy. Inflammation causes you to feel sluggish and fatigued. And then we already talked about the fat. Fat itself actually releases inflammatory chemicals called cytokines, which are messengers that your body uses to start the inflammatory process. So your fat cells are then producing more inflammatory messengers, and all that inflammation is making you gain more weight. And so your fat is making you fat, which is super unfair. It just is not right. So can you see kind of the pattern, the cycle that's going on here? We're all connected. It's all about getting to that root and that balance. I love this picture. I wish I were as fat as I was the first time I thought I was fat. Isn't that the truth? So as we get older, back when I was in my 30s, but I have to say, I have figured things out, and I'm actually pretty much right in a pretty good spot, and you guys will all be too. So I know a lot of our customers are older. It seems like the older you get, the more you get away from all that weight loss stuff, and you get more into, I just want to feel better and feel good. So anyways, here we go. All right, so here's the good news. So this is strictly from, Plexus is our support system. We want to address the root issues of the cause. So if you've got somebody who's highly stressed, you want to address the inflammation, which the triplex does. I absolutely recommend wholeheartedly the ease, morning and night, 1 tablet, morning and night. They have the equivalent of your daily recommended omegas, omega-3, and it also has keeps that inflammation down, and it is the equivalent of your daily recommended for glucosamine chondroitin. So it's good for joints, but also good for just aiding the body and keeping the inflammation down. So I will recommend that to somebody who's highly stressed. I do it myself. I had bad shoulder issues, and they are totally tolerable. I was right on the cusp of having surgery on my right shoulder, and I'm having no problems, just kind of dull every once in a while. You want to support your toxin removal systems. Okay, biggest organ in the body, your liver. If your liver is clogged up, fatty, and whatnot, that's the major factory for that, and in conjunction with your lymph system is your 2 major factories for breaking down toxins and then sending them off to get removed. If they're bogged by your environment, and let me tell you, we're all full of toxins. Yeah, I mean, it's just today's day and age and how we live. You'd have to live on a farm out in Timbuktu not to be, and even then, acid rain and a rain and things like that. So you want to support all those systems. You want to eat good food, and you want to eat enough of them. I think a lot of people make a huge mistake in not eating enough. And so if you're not eating enough, our bodies were designed to conserve and keep us alive. So if you're not eating enough food, it's going to lower your metabolism. It's going to shut you down. So eating enough, even though some of us are afraid, I highly, highly suggest detoxing seasonally. We get our teeth cleaned twice a year, and I don't know why we don't go through seasonally detoxing our body. And it doesn't have to be juices and deprivation and just an uncomfortable experience. It can be quite pleasant. Once you get through the process. It depends on where you're at. Here's a little secret. Get those pens writing. Eating strategies and timing is super important. So important. Okay, so here's something I learned. Do you guys remember when it was very big to eat like three little meals a day and then snack in between to keep your blood sugar all nice and level and keel? I know I was kind of raised on that. Or been told that's the optimal way because you're never hungry, your blood sugar is always stable. Well, the tide is changing for that. You want to eat 3 good, healthy meals a day. You want to allow 4 or so hours between your meals for your blood sugar to come down. Here's what happens when you eat. Blood sugar goes into your blood sugar is raised, insulin is released to bring down those blood sugars. Blood sugars will come down, but guess what? Insulin comes down much slower, okay? So then you throw a little snack in there, right? Your blood sugar comes up again. More insulin is released. Your blood sugar comes down, but now your insulin's just a little bit higher. So you always have a good amount of insulin in your blood. You're never allowed for your body to go into burning fat. Hunger is actually a really good sign. It's not a bad sign. When you are hungry, that means your body is burning fat. But you will find when you eat 3 good meals a day, 3 good size meals with some good fat, good whole protein, not this lean stuff. Don't go for the lean, go for the whole, because fat is filling and it kind of buffers. Lean meats and things will raise your blood sugar level. So I'm all for the whole stuff. Go for the whole. It's more filling, you feel more satisfied, and your body loves it more. So 3 meals a day, and you do not want to eat after 6. You want to allow your body to gradually, if your insulin level is up at bedtime, number 1, it disrupts sleep. Number 2, you want to give your digestive tract some rest. And that's how and you want that body to be restored through the intermittent. It's almost like fasting, because if you finish at 6 or 7 with your last meal and you're not snacking, and then you're not eating till early the next morning, your body's allowed to just regenerate. Your lymph system can clear out all those toxins. Your liver gets a little chance to settle down. So those are some strategies, and you can share that with your customers. Take everything that you're learning here and educate who you're working with, and show them that they are more than just take these pills, Give them some good tools.
Question, Ruth?
Sure.
What about drinking while you're on your meals? I know in our 5-day we're not allowed.
Yep.
Well, can you give me
Yes. Okay, so your digestive process starts immediately when food enters your mouth. So you want to make sure that you chew really, really well, because that's the beginning of your digestive. The amylase, you have enzymes that are working in your saliva to break those food down. I highly recommend that you do not drink during a meal, because you dilute the digestive juices and it affects your digestion. And I know that's a big change for a lot of people because they want to wash things down. But you really want to dilute your digestive juices as little as possible. So I highly recommend. It's also, if you've got acid reflux, it's highly recommend that you do not, that you're not drinking with your meal. So does that answer that question, Cindy?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Eliminate inflammatory foods. You can do a Google search and look. I'm going to be talking about some foods that are highly inflammatory. Just try to limit and reduce or get rid of those out of your diet. And then I think it's important to have some help. I mean, if you're if you're working with a customer, and we all have them, that's on 4 Dr. Peppers or 2 Dr. Peppers and eats junk food and wants to make a change, I hope you're going to be their support for them. And I always like somebody who's starting, like if it's a wife, say, would your husband want to do this with you? Because the chance of them having success is going to be much, much higher. And that's one of the reasons why I know Cindy you have a group doing the 5-day detox, and it's just so important getting people involved in a community. All right, so our absolute favorite. So the Plexus Slim, we all know how they work. I'm not going to go into that because we don't have time for that, but just be assured we have the best products. I would encourage each and every one of you, if you want to build your belief in your products, or if you have a time where you're a bit discouraged, go and research yourself. Don't take it from some PDF or Word doc that was sent to you, but really do some of your own work on research on all the individual ingredients in each of the products, and your mind will be blown by the quality of products and how they've combined and put them together. So the Plexus Slim, of course, is great for blood sugar. Here's one little ingredient. I'll just go into one that I really love. I'm really just in love with alpha lipoic acid. I love it when you have a lot of stress in your body. Your cells are being damaged from stress. And what alpha lipoic acid is, a very strong antioxidant. And it's water soluble and it's fat soluble. So it's both, which is pretty cool because it can work throughout the whole body. So it's a great scavenger for scavenging up all those damaged cells to remove them from the body. Now, normal free radicals or normal antioxidants, they'll gobble up cellular debris, and then they're not useful anymore. And alpha lipoic acid actually has the ability to turn those back on. So it's kind of the double super-powered antioxidant. So that is really an awesome ingredient in the Plexus Slim, along with all the other ingredients. Probio 5 gut health, that is the very first thing you want to address. So if somebody's having gastrointestinal issues, or if they're just not feeling well. They don't have energy. They're just not right. Getting the gut right is the first step. So they may need a little detoxing. They may need a little help in that area. I love the ProBio 5. I've already talked about the amazing enzymes that are in it. The chitinase, which can break down Candida's outer shell. I love, there is a particular strain, the Saccharomyces boulardii, is actually a colonizing probiotic that is anti-fibrotic. So if you ever heard of fibrosis and things like that, but it keeps the gut healthy and from forming damaging fibrous tissue that can lead to a lot of colon issues. So it actually is very good at preventing that. So that's in the ProBio 5, but I found all that by looking this stuff up. I was like, my eyes were like, oh, this is awesome. But when you learn it on your own, then you know it and you won't forget it. And then of course the BioCleanse, that awesome magnesium supplement that complements all three of them. But the three of those work very, very well together in addressing those three core issues. And we all know that. All right. Here we go. So the whole line of products are amazing. We won't go into that because I know you've had product information videos. So I want to share just a little bit about the 5-day that Cindy just went through. We've changed the name instead. We had it as Plexi 5, but now we're calling it the Me Talks 5 because it's more than just a detox, and it's good, healthy food. So it addresses all the things we were talking about, your gut health, inflammation, clearing out your toxin removal systems, really addressing liver, getting your liver all fresh and cleaned out. And Cindy, did you find it too hard?
No, I loved it.
I
love the checklist.
Yes, it tells you exactly what to do, but you eat 3 good, big, healthy meals a day. You have recipes. I'm going to move to the next slide. So you get a complete meal menu. Cindy's probably shared some of that on their grocery list. What I really liked about it, and you guys have that right now, is the private Facebook group. You guys that was the fun part of it. Everybody lost, I think, an average of 4. We had one person lose 10 pounds, but it's not about weight loss. But when you eat well and you're eating the right foods and you're getting your toxin removal systems working well, then weight will come off. And I see quite a few people are continuing on with that. Daily tips. I am a personal support doing it. You get a complete Plexus supplement schedule, which here's a couple things to write down. I always suggest taking the vitamin with a meal, after a meal. And the reason why is a lot of vitamins need a cofactor to be completely absorbed. So if we take it on its own on an empty stomach, the particular vitamins in it may not have that cofactor to be absorbed. So you want to make sure, and our food gives us cofactors. So you have a higher chance of that being fully absorbed during a meal. So I always like to recommend taking the vitamin after a meal. Probiotic, I still recommend in the evening because that's when I have 2 kind of trains of thoughts with the probiotic. One, if you're pretty healthy and your gut's all doing really healthy and doing well, I take it at night when my bowel is more at rest. So the probiotic will stay in there for longer. The BioCleanse, I will take 2, I recommend at night, and it's okay to take the 2 of them together. That's perfectly fine. One's not going to offset the other. The BioCleanse is not going to wipe out the probiotic. You don't have to worry about that. And then I'll sometimes I take a BioCleanse between lunch and breakfast and lunch, and then lunch and dinner. So those are kind of my suggestions for those. Always Slim. Here's something. Please take the Slim. I recommend on an empty stomach. Let it start to do its work, because you want it on an empty stomach, because before you put food in you, it's going to help keep that blood sugar level down and balanced. So you want it in and working before you start eating. We have, with this new Metox, we actually have, I have a friend of mine who's a web designer and graphic designer. So Cindy was a part of like the, oh my gosh, you guys were the test people. I've done the detoxes before, but not in a, quite in the group we did. But it is going to be so much better. I mean, the tools, we actually have tracking that is going to give you points. The website does it. And this is not taking away from our 60-day, doesn't take away at all from the 60-day, because it kind of, I think it goes rather hand in hand with it. But, and then we do live Zooms, and it's a community. So Cindy said I could share that with you. If anybody's interested in doing it, we have another group. We do it 4 times a year, starting February 6th. So the event information is already up for it.
Question while we're still talking about that. We have, in our 5-day, we were doing warm water with lemon.
Yes.
Before we drank our slim. What is that doing?
Okay, the warm water when you wake up in the morning. All right, this is a great topic. This is something kind of neat for you guys to learn. So when you wake up in the morning, what that warm water and lemon does is it alkalizes the body.
Okay.
So pH is extremely important. If you're not right on, if you're not 6.3 to 6.6 in your pH, your body cannot absorb micronutrients. So that's why a lot of people are magnesium deficient. The most sensitive micronutrient to pH is iodine. So you wonder why so many, and it's mainly women, have thyroid issues. Yep. Your body can't absorb iodine if your pH isn't just right. So what the lemon does is it alkalizes. Okay. Because a lot of people tend to run a bit acidic. So it's just a good pH balancer. So that is why and that's something good to get into every morning. I have a little thing of essential oil that's lemon right next to my bathroom sink. So in the morning when I get up, brush my teeth, I'll put 2 drops of lemon oil and I'll drink that in the morning. So anyways, it's just a good 5 days to jumpstart your weight loss. We had a lot of, and you guys are going through it right now and experiencing it with Cindy, but a lot of people who are on a plateau or stuck, they might just be toxic. I mean, they might just need a good detox to get things going. But then when you when you come off the detox, you don't want to go right back into maybe the bad habits that you had before. Also, because we eliminate 7 inflammatory practices in foods, we no dairy, no sugar, no caffeine, no soy, no egg, no alcohol, and no caffeine, all highly inflammatory things. We let your body, we take those things out of your diet. So now your body has an opportunity to heal. You know, your inflammation is low, you get the liver all nice and clean. And then when you get off of it, you go back, you're taking, you've got your plexus routine, you make different choices. It also helps break that for some people who have that really hard sugar carb craving thing going on and that's a real problem. I mean, sugar and white flour and processed foods is it's an addiction. It can be very hard to break. It's not a lack of willpower. It's just hard. Also, when your body is under stress and you've got cortisol coursing throughout your system, you know what it needs for fuel? It wants something quick. It wants something really quick. So the fastest absorbing fuel for cortisol and other things that aren't so good for you in your body is sugar and refined flour. Refined carbs are what can be what can fuel that. So if you can break that, you're helping and share that with maybe your customers and things like that that may help them break that. So I think sometimes, I know when I first started, I really got on the Candida. Candida is causing my sugar cravings. So they get on the probiotic for a month or 2 and they're like, what's going on? I still have these sugar cravings. And you're at a loss. You're like, It was supposed to be the darn candida. They're supposed to get rid of that. For some people, it works. They can put down their diet soda. They can say no to sugar. But for majority of people, it's a bit deeper than that. It's a little bit deeper than that. That's why it's good to address, the body as kind of a whole. And these are just easy suggestions that I think people might, you guys probably all know these things, but I mean, hearing the why may help you serve your customers and things like that. So, anyways, but you'll get everything you need. I also have, and you guys have this recipe for a good liver detox drink, and it's made of apple cider vinegar, a little bit of cranberry concentrate, no sugar or anything. Cranberry is very, very good for flushing the kidneys. So we want to clean out the kidneys too. It also has, I put a tablespoon of lemon juice in it. And then Ceylon cinnamon is one of the highest antioxidant herbs available. So you guys, on your meals, on your oatmeal, on whatever you're eating, that cinnamon is really great for your health. And then maybe a pinch of turmeric or cayenne pepper in there, because that's good for inflammation. So, and a little bit of stevia, because it's a bit sour. And then I add 6 to 8 ounces of water. And we do that before each meal. It helps with digestion. It helps kind of a feeling of fullness, and it really helps support the liver. So, so that's part of it too. Some people it's really hard, but you can kind of start out slow with smaller amounts of everything, or just once a day. But that really helps with getting the liver detoxed, and then just eating really good whole foods, really good whole foods. So, so that's what that is. And like I said, you guys are doing that with Cindy, but we also have one coming up February 6th, and the website is going to be phenomenal that connects with it. And it's got, 10 times the recipes that we had in ours, and tracking and measurement and diary. And every time you record, you get points, kind of like a Fitbit. And you'll have free access to that for 30 days. And it's really, really really a neat site. Anne has done an amazing job on it. So thanks for letting me share.
I already got my ticket.
Yay!
I got my spot.
Yay! And it's so much fun, isn't it, Cindy? What a great, encouraging group of people. Yeah.
Oh, they were amazing. I loved it. I loved every bit about it. And I was very skeptical at first, because I've never done one of these, and I'm very, I'm not the one to try new things. And the drink for me at first was a little bit, but I like cranberry. Yeah. So I ended up I enjoy it. I put ice cubes in it, and I drink it with a straw, and I couldn't believe the stuff coming out of me. Like, crazy. I mean, I've been on Plexus for 3 years, and I told my husband, wow. And I, just like we've talked about in our group, after those 5 days are over, you are clean. And then we went out to dinner. We were in LA for Super Saturday, and we had to eat out. And I was so scared to eat anything, because I knew my body was clean, Yeah. So it's really cool mentally too, to know that you're doing that for your body.
It is. And you know what? Saying no to the things that we said, you say no.
Yep.
When you say no, it's not black and white. I can have a little bit of this. I can have a little bit of that. No, it's just no. It makes things so much easier. And the reason why I did it for 5 days, because this is a detox I've developed myself. This is probably the 12th go around that I've been refining each time. So it might change a little bit as I find new information, because the health, the wellness industry and things like that, things are changing. If there's a good scientific, research paper that tells you to do something, everything that I've put into this detox has been researched by the medical community. So it's not just stuff. So it's kind of a hybrid of a lot of different things. So the one thing that I really want to teach during it, and I also do live and Zooms and things like that, but I want to teach you to know yourself, know what good health is, know what it takes for good health. So then you're going to be amazing ambassadors, and you're going to be the health resource for your families, for your friends. They'll say, go talk to Judy. she knows everything. You know, I did what she told me, and oh my God, I feel so much better. And by the way, her Plexus products, you have to take those. You have to. And the other thing is, if you guys have any customers, like if you know anybody if you know like somebody who's been a big no to you, or somebody who's been kind of sitting on the fence about Plexus, invite them to do this with you, because I will be talking about how important Plexus is to this journey to health. And when I say I will talk about, and I didn't do that much this past time, Cindy, because it was with the Silver Slims basically, but this time I am making it a recruiting tool, you know, to talk about, here is why this probiotic, I recommend this one. Here is a tool. If you're struggling with this, you need, you know, because we're going to talk gut health. We also do a bone broth that's very easy to make. Bone broth is incredible for healing a gut that's not right and reinforcing a healthy gut even more. I actually incorporate, drink bone broth every day, and it's fantastic. And it's a very easy recipe.
I like it.
That is one thing you can have between your lunch, your breakfast and your lunch, and your lunch and your dinner. It's almost like a chicken broth. If you make chicken, or you can do beef, but we do that also. And, you know, you're not going to heal your gut without you do need a good probiotic, and you absolutely need the BioCleanse. I mean, what probiotic comes with the BioCleanse? None. So all that junk swirling around there, that's why most probiotics just don't work. I mean, the two together are phenomenal. So, but we'll talk about that too. But anyway, Cindy, thank you so much for having me. I've really, I have time for some questions if anybody.
Gosh, I thank you for being on here. It was amazing. I'll unmute everybody. I've got them all muted right now.
I can stop the share. I'll stop share. There we go.
Yay!
Yay!
What were the things that you said were inflammatory items? They have alcohol and caffeine, and then you said a few more.
Dairy, soy, gluten. I forgot. That's the big one. Gluten. Gluten. Didn't say that. Okay. So dairy, soy, gluten, eggs.
And would you, on eggs, is it all the egg or just egg yolk?
No. If you live on a farm and have your own chickens and get farm raised like that, that's fine. The problem is there's a lot of chickens, even when they say they're not hormoned and all that kind of stuff, that they do still because of the GMO. I have a list of everything, but we want to really reduce, and any animal that eats corn. So so that can be
or corn, yeah,
inflammatory. GMO, your body doesn't recognize it as natural, so it's going to create a response when you're taking it. So you want to kind of minimize as much as you can those foods.
Okay.
If you want to ask a question, unmute yourself and do it, because it was too noisy. So if you have a question for her.
I have a question. Can you address, I know in the detox there's, I think oatmeal is allowed in the morning, but just in general, just for like general health with the 3 big meals, like can you address carbohydrates? And like, because I do paleo and I feel like I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm almost afraid of carbs now. Like I do sweet potatoes sometimes, but you know, like, but then I keep hearing it's like, okay, because it's like reduce your carbs, but then sometimes I've heard like with certain issues like thyroid, you need to carbs because that nourishes your thyroid and things like that. So can you address like what are the best carbs to eat and when to eat them throughout the day to support your body?
Yeah. You know, I think most of us think of carbs as bread, you know, the bread, the bagel, the whatever for carbs. Carbs can be found in a lot of our vegetables, you know, so I always do, when you say oatmeal in the morning, gluten-free. I think what we need to stay away from, not so much carbs. You get your carbs, good clean carbs from your fruits and vegetables. I have problems not so much with carbs, but with gluten. Gluten is damaging to everybody, even if you are not celiac. or anything like that. Gluten has a protein in it that causes little tiny micro tears in your inner intestinal wall. And so if you are good and healthy, it usually takes 3 to 4 days for that to heal up. So in somebody who's good and healthy and their digestive tract is healthy, I would limit your gluten. But as far as carbs, you'd really do, sweet potatoes are fantastic. Your squashes, your vegetables. You can use like in plate, like almond flours and things like that to bake with and cook with. And then, I still am a little out on the grain sprouted type things. But just try to go gluten-free also when you take in carbs. And I'm not saying you can never have it. You can't. Listen, Katie, if your body is working really well, having that occasional treat and things like that is not a bad thing, or a baked potato or, something of that nature. That'll be fine. If you are struggling, if you're struggling and my husband just said goodbye. He's got to pick up our daughter. Sorry. And also when you eat. So I'm a big proponent in the 3 meals a day and no snacking. Okay. And I think you can eat, more than what you think in those 3 meals. For instance, like in the morning, I will have the gluten-free oatmeal, and I'll have a big bowl, put some apples and some cinnamon and a little bit of stevia on that and some walnuts, and I'm ready to go. Lunch, I'll have the big salad. I love to have, the darker the green, the better, and throw all kinds of stuff in it, have a good protein in that. And then for dinner, I will have fish, some steamed vegetables, those type of things. And I'll make like cauliflower mashed potatoes, make it kind of like regular mashed and things like that. I don't know if I'm answering your question well enough. And the other thing, I think our bodies absolutely need carbohydrates. That's where our energy comes from. So I think this low carb thing, if we go too low in our carbs, because like the Atkins diet did not do anybody any favors by lowering the carbs. The brain needs it. The brain absolutely uses most of its energy, and it needs glucose and it needs carbohydrates. So, but good carbohydrates. And I know like Atkins is mainly protein and fats, but I think for overall health, that's not going to be a good choice. But if you're doing well, Katie, I mean, are you worried like carbs for gaining weight or?
Yeah, pretty much. Just because I've gone all like back and forth, like different, because I've just played with different like diet plans, I guess. And so it's kind of either like lower carb, like higher fat, moderate protein,
Mm-hmm.
like the high carb, because then I'll see people, like a lot of fitness people will do, when they're doing their macros, they do like high carb, lower fats, like 50 grams or less a day, and then high protein, so
Yeah.
It's just kind of like mixed signals all over, like what's best for our bodies,
Here's what I would say for best for body is, my goal with teaching and talking to people is so that you never have to say diet again, so we're not trapped to finding a plan. And I think the way God made us, plants, and getting most of our nutrients from our plant sources and from, minimum amount of fruit, because fruit is high in sugars. And I would also suggest not eating a lot of fruit after 2:00, just for raising blood sugar and things like that. So that's another little strategy. But having 3 really good meals, enjoying them, and make it mainly plant-based, but good plant-based. And fats are very good. Get rid of all the low fat, eat whole. If you're going to go, if you're going to eat like meat, don't go for the totally lean stuff. The lean stuff spikes your blood sugar. The fat in those meats buffers it. So, you know, and I would be very careful about the sources of where you get your meats and things like that. Pay the extra money and get it without the hormones, without the antibiotics. I mean, they can say a piece of beef is grass-fed if it's spent 18 hours out in a pasture, and then they brought it back in. They want to fatten that beef up. So you just be careful about where you get those sources, because I think what makes a lot of us fat, and we're all vain, we don't want to be heavy, we don't want to gain weight, a lot of times is our toxin load. You know, we didn't even address our makeup. You want to know what's causing hormonal issues in this country is the makeup and the number of toxins that we're putting on our skin. The FDA approved over 1,100 things that can be put in our foods and what we put on our body. In Europe, there's only 6 on that list that are allowed. So our body can absorb toxins through the skin and go directly into the bloodstream. And so when we're toxic, we increase inflammation. Inflammation increases cortisol. Cortisol increases fat storage. So if we focus on being cleaner, less toxic, eating good, real food, wouldn't it be awesome? I mean, here's my dream of being free of ever saying diet, of the scale, and just feeling good. Mm-hmm. So I think if you want to look for a good, like, overall plan, I love Whole30. If you've ever looked at Whole30, JJ Virgin is another one. But again, diet, but both of those individuals really have good, sound nutritional principles and teach eating good food, good, real food, not mixing up macros and, you know what I mean? Easy to understand.
Right. Yeah, no, I love Whole30. So
yeah, it's awesome.
So just real quick, I know we've been on here, but so I know you recommend eating the whole, like, meat with fat in it and all of that, but yeah, like they recommend in the Whole30, say not everybody can. I mean, ideally, you know, it would be great if we could pay more for the better quality, but are you okay with, say, getting, if you can't afford the best quality, getting the lean fat and then like a lean ground beef and then adding your own healthy fat to it, like coconut oil or
sure,
something like that to, you know,
or avocado or something like that. That'd be great. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Just since I know that the toxins are stored in the fat. So
yeah,
if it's not the quality, get the leanest meat and then add your own healthy.
You know what, Katie, that's a really good point. Yes, toxins are in the fat. So the leaner on the beef products. Yeah.
If we can.
I have a question about
what?
Congratulations, Ruth.
Oh, thank you.
I just noticed she got her certificate right there.
Yeah, I got my diploma.
Diploma of Natural Health.
Yes, I have a piece of paper.
That's exciting.
Real quick, I want to mention on Katie's thing about the ground beef.
Yes.
So I don't know if I'm right on that, but ground beef is very inflammatory. So you always want to get grass-fed organic. Is that correct?
Yes, with anything. It can, yeah, the proteins can be. You're right, Frances.
Or bison. I mean, something more.
Bison is fantastic. Venison is really good. Mm-hmm. And those animals don't tend to be exposed to the toxin load that beef cattle are. So best is to find a couple buddies and go buy a cow. Go buy a.
Yeah. You know, anybody raise them?
Some good organic, you know, some farmer that has one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's expensive. I eat all organic, grass-fed, and I eat, I'm gluten, dairy free. I stay away from oatmeal. because I'm not well.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot. And so I just learned that, you know, using a lot of, like you said, the almond, milk, coconut oil. I use coconut flour for everything for my carbs, and sweet potatoes. That's pretty much all I use. But even the chicken, if it's not grass fed, I don't eat it. Or I turn to turkey. If something doesn't have grass fed, I try to turn to turkey.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And you know what? I'll tell you what. Just look at our country today. 78% of all prescriptions are written in the United States of America. Why is that? Why do we have the highest incident of autoimmune disease? Autoimmune was non-existent 40 years ago, pretty much. It wasn't around. I mean, what happened? They've altered our food. They've altered how it's produced, how it's made, and our soil is so depleted of nutrients that we aren't getting everything we need. So we have to be really careful. I mean, it's sad to say, but I mean, I don't have celiac. I didn't have a lot of, my issue was caused because I went to Africa and got some wacky bug and they put me on Cipro for 2 weeks and I had diarrhea for a year. That's what caused my issue. So that, it wasn't food and things, but there was nothing that was fixing it. I have to say, if it wasn't for plexus, I thought I mean, I can't even tell you what a difference it's made. And I was trying to eat clean. I was, staying away from things, but there's a great book, you all, called The Autoimmune Fix. And it's fantastic about gluten and just how it's wreaking havoc, on our population. So you're going to see, and here's the thing, if you're predisposed for celiac, Brain Brain's another really good book too.
I love that book.
Yeah. My favorite one when I first got started was Brain Maker by Dr. Perlmutter. Look at Cindy, I'll pull it out.
I know. I'm like, I have this one. Have you seen that one?
Oh yeah, Carol Leaf. I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really good. I should have had my stack. You know what? I can, I'll send you my list of books.
These are the two Brain Brain. I love both of them.
Yeah, they're both really
got
good.
me like going on them.
Yeah. Brain Maker was really good about the importance of gut health. Here's something that should be really encouraging to all of us. Gut health, we are on the cutting edge. We are the leading company that is addressing these root causes. And I think we are the trailblazers and we are educators. So the better we can do that, I think the more we'll be thought of in a professional. Oh, that's Ruth Ann. She's the swim coach. What does she know about my constipation? Okay. Okay. I'll go out and get it. No, I'll go read about it. I'll give you, my thing is just try it. You will feel better. But back in 2007, there was about 380 papers written on gut health and published. Last year, there was over 5,500 papers published. That tells you that the medical community is waking up to the importance of addressing that instead of throwing pills at it. So, I mean, we all know that way ahead of everybody, but I think that's a pretty cool statistic right there.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're
welcome. Oh, you got your notes?
Oh, I'm a note taker.
I was going off the top of my head. I've got that whole insulin resistance. When you know something, but it's not quite. But that's something that probably, if you have a customer with belly fat, if they get really tired after meals, they lack energy, and there's a bunch of other symptoms, they probably are insulin and leptin resistant. And in that case, they got to get that straightened out. So, so that might be what's causing them to have issues with losing weight. Right. Even if they're taking all their Plexus products, that might be giving them a little bit of a plateau. And in that case, the detox, they have to eliminate some food groups. They have to get sugar. Oh, I forgot. Here's the number one inflammatory. We forgot to say sugar. Sugar. I just take it for granted. Don't eat sugar. Mm-hmm. But they have to cut down on their sugar. That's really hard. If you tell somebody, okay, stop eating sugar, and they have a bagel for breakfast, and you know what I mean? It's really hard. The nice thing about this detox is I've been doing it. I kind of do it Monday to Friday and kind of splurge a little bit on the weekends because I like my adult beverages when we go out on the weekends. Mm-hmm. So, but the thing is, I'm not a big drinker. We go out and have a couple. We're from Wisconsin. It's beer. But I'm losing my taste for it. It's really strange because the 5 days does change your taste buds a bit. You like real food a little bit more, which is a good thing. So
that was something I was going to say. Even in those 5 days, I've been on Plexus for 3 years, and the third or fourth day, I had a dull headache. I felt bloated. My rings were all tight. So it just amazed me that I went through this detox, through that. And then coming off of it, my skin, it's amazing what 5 days can do for a person.
I know. It's like a 10-year facelift.
It is. Everybody's like,
I know. I'm like, somebody was saying your skin looks so good because I was the lifeguard. A lot of bad habits when I was younger that are popping up. So all you young Katie, Francis, you young people, eat right and take care of your skin.
Can you
not do what everything did.
Can I share that friend of yours website with the skin and all the skin products? Not the.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And
tell a little bit about her if you can.
So my friend Nicole hand makes deodorant, soap, lotion, salt baths. She's like an aroma. She does a lot of essential oil stuff. Amazing. And let me tell you, she is super duper cheap. And she gave everybody in the detox a 20% discount.
I know.
So you know what? You guys get it too through Sunday. So Plexi 5, capital letters, you guys can have that. And also for the Metox.
What's it called?
I'll put it in the group.
Okay.
So the Metox, if you guys want to do it, it is it's like a pre-sale. I haven't put it up like on my site and things like that, but you guys are welcome to join it it's like 20, it's pretty minimal. And then you also get that website for the 30 days and things like that. But
when is that?
That starts February 6th.
Okay.
So you have a bit of time because we're doing, this is kind of hush hush for everybody.
I have, just to be honest, I have opposite problem of not being able to gain weight.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think I need to learn more about healthy fats because of, now I'm having to even get off most of my, gluten-free breads and stuff. But I have a really hard time losing weight. Do you think that
gaining weight?
I have a really hard time gaining weight. I'm very underweight.
You know what? My daughter is the same thing right now, and we are increasing her fats.
Okay.
So, you can add coconut oils to a lot of things.
I do. Do you like olive oil and stuff too?
Olive oil, yes. I would go, I still wouldn't neglect having the big salad, but I would add more, dense, with your dressings. Things,
okay.
add more to that. Nuts are very high in calories. So I would add more walnuts and almonds, what's the other one? Hazelnuts, those type of things would be very good and very nutrient dense.
Okay.
To add as a suggestion.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I have a question about, you were saying not to eat after 6. Does that include drinking after 6 too?
Nope, you can drink. In fact, I do a bone broth at night sometimes.
Okay.
So you just don't want to be drinking things that are going to raise your glycemic, your, like a